You say for the call this on it.
It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
Good morning, I'm Philip Simon. Happy Monday to you.
It is a pleasure to be back in your company. I hope that you guys had a wonderful weekend. And of course, we're looking forward to a wonderful show.
Yeah, actually, good to be back. Kind of dipped out on you on Friday.
Yes, you
Sorry,
did.
I didn't give you a heads up on
No,
that.
you didn't.
But you know, had an important meeting to kind of attend to. But the weekend was busy. It was busy. It was eventful. I want to say again, condolences to my dear friends, the Stubbs family, and Foxhill on the passing of Birdie, and the funerals on the weekend. And it was a beautiful service. Just a reminder, you know, of course, being an elder of the church down there in Macedonia, and you know, just a different generation of people, you know, but back in, you know, I want to say back in the day, but, you know, it's just from a different mold of character and strength and good habits.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was just so happy to have known her, and can understand how the family feels, you know, like a mother to all of us.
Yeah.
And then also, too, Junior Achievement had its, New Providence had its end of year awards ceremony. Again, congratulations to Junior Achievement New Providence. The excitement was in the air. We've got a new Most Distinguished Achiever. Hopefully we can bring her on the show soon. Congratulations to Commonwealth Bank as well. They won the Company of the Year award.
Congratulations, Commonwealth Bank, and congratulations to my friend Chanel, formerly Claire, now Mrs. Andy Sands. So Chanel and Andy got married over the weekend. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous wedding there at Christchurch Cathedral, and the fun continued on thereafter, and we really had a wonderful time reconnecting with old friends and just celebrating a new union. So congratulations to both of you.
Yeah.
Sister gets married on the weekend coming, so I'm
Oh,
so
it's
excited.
this one?
Yes,
Oh,
it
wow.
is.
Okay. All right.
Marrying off my big sis, so I'm looking forward to that as well, and that's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Before I go any further, Phil, one of my very best friends in this world is celebrating her birthday today.
Oh.
And so I want to wish a very special happy birthday to Patricia Roberts. Patricia, I'm just so grateful that God would have seen fit to bless me with you, and I pray that you see this new year, this new decade as a blessing, because that's what it is. The best is yet to come.
That's exactly what it is. A new day, a new year, a new blessing. Congratulations to you. Congratulations also to the Golden State Warriors. Is that your team?
So you want to start something?
No,
I would take you
I'm
on.
just asking. I'm just asking.
I don't want to take you on that. I told you this already.
Hey, listen,
Yes, congratulations to the
them.
Golden State Warriors. Shout out to Godfrey Burnside, who didn't think the Golden State was going to come back from the Raptors win last weekend, but they sure did. I see you, Steph.
Is that his team?
I see you. It's not his team. We're both Laker fans, actually.
Oh, yeah.
But in reality, the Lakers, as you know, what's happening with the franchise there. Magic leaving and just some troubles. I've been supporting Golden State for a while.
Showtime in LA.
I've been supporting Golden State for a while, and you know, Godfrey just felt like the Raptors were going to beat us, and they didn't. So you know.
So you know, for all of those fake fans out there, see, people kind of get upset when I say I pull for the winner. Why do you get upset, right? So if you weren't pulling for Golden State 10 years ago, when they were 10th in their division, and now all of a sudden Golden State, rah, rah, rah. You just like me. You're a bandwagon hopper. But listen, that's
You're
our
not
team.
like Phil.
Until Toronto beats us, that's our team.
You're not like Phil.
Yeah.
Phil is wishy-washy. You're not like him. You know what? Anyway, we've got a great show lined up for you today. Phil.
Yes, the champs are here. Our own version of the champs. Bahamas National Culinary Team is here. They're going to be going off again later in the month to the Taste of Caribbean once again. And I think they're going to bring it all home. They're going to bring it all home. Of course, the budget was passed it's presented last week. We're going to be talking about it for the next, I think we're going to be talking about it for a while, as we should, And of course, we've got some great guys on the show, our own version of, financial consultants on the show to talk about it here this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise.
I'm looking forward to that. A really interesting budget. Someone referred to it to me as the people's budget, really, and just
It's
talked
always the
about,
people's budget.
It always is, but
Yeah.
this one had some nuances, especially as it relates to business. And so for young people in business, I think they were very excited about this budget. So we'll learn some more.
They couldn't do what they did last year. We knew that.
Yeah, well, and thank God they're not pushing ahead the national health insurance tax. But anyway, we've got more to come on that. In addition to that, we're going to be taking a look at Palm Key, a beautiful residential community
nice.
here in
I
New
like
Providence. Our Matt Daniels has that, so I'm sure that's going to be a fun story. And we cannot let you forget.
I heard you was beating up on Mark on Friday past.
I didn't beat up on Mark.
You
I'm
know,
just a
in the
champion.
fitness segment. See, this is
No,
what happens,
I'm a
Godfrey.
beast.
I miss for
I'm
one
victorious.
day, and they choose to do the fitness segment when I'm not here.
And I'm a beast, and I go hard all the time.
Anyway.
Boom.
Okay.
All right, so if you are a father or daughter that look alike, or a father and son that look alike, remember that Father's Day is coming up, and we're going to do our annual father-daughter, father-son look-alike contest. So we're asking that you submit those photos to us. You can send them to S. Parker, that's SPARKER, at tclbahamas.com, and include your telephone number. We've got a list of fantastic prizes, but the deadline for entry is going to be June 11th, so please get those photos into us if you're a dad with a daughter or a son that looks just like you.
All right. We get our day coming, Godfrey. But listen, speaking of Godfrey, the weather was kind of a little up and down over the weekend. But listen, I'm happy whenever it rains. It just doesn't rain too much, cars and all the rest of that stuff. But here's Godfrey Burnside with our first look with weather at sunrise.
Weather at sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Phil, and good morning, Bahamas. Your first look at weather at sunrise. A little troughing across the northwest was kick off some of those showers over the weekend and through the week, but high pressure continues to be the normal weather feature across the island, so it produce some stable but some hot conditions over the next several days. Anywhere of the day, we're looking at partly sunny, very warm, with the chance of a few showers, maybe nice to thunderstorm, mainly across the northwest Bahamas. Your high temperature 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, you can expect a few patchy clouds on the muggy side, and yes, there's a chance of a couple of nighttime showers. Your low temperature go down to 76 degrees Fahrenheit. And some regional highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 83 and 79. In Jamaica 81 and 72. In Trinidad 90 and 77. And the Turks and Caicos Islands 88 and 76. Across North America, Atlanta 88 and 68. In Raleigh 83 and 65. In Miami 90 and 78. Dallas, Texas 89 and 76. And Toronto, Canada 58 and 49. Next 5 days, we're looking at partly sunny skies with the chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm popping up. Those temperature daytime will be around 90 degree mark. At nighttime in the mid to upper 70s. That's what you're up in your first look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much, Godfrey Starr. This segment is for you. We have our own version of the Golden State Warriors in the house, or maybe it's the Chicago Bulls because they've won so many awards. At the Taste of the Caribbean, our very own Bahamas National Culinary Team competes later in the month, and they are back on Bahamas at Sunrise to tell us exactly what it is they're going to win. I'm going to allow them to just introduce themselves. And of course, we got a spread here that we're going to get into in a second. So let's just start right here. Just introduce yourself and, of course, your competitive field.
Good morning, Bahamas. My name is Devin Johnson. I'm the team manager.
Good morning, Bahamas. My name is Chef Celeste Smith, and I'm the pastry chef.
Good morning, Bahamas. My name is Leonardo Moss, and I'll be the 305 Caribbean chef.
Good morning, Bahamas. My name is Derek Blackman. I'll be the mixologist.
Good morning, Bahamas. Mario Adley. I am team coordinator.
Morning, Bahamas. My name is Hazen Roll, and I'll be the junior chef.
Good morning, Bahamas. My name is Tevin Camp, and I will be the seafood chef.
Lastly,
Good morning, Bahamas. This is the current Chef of the Year. I'm doing that competition once again. Chef Jamal Small.
Chef Jamal Small. Listen, man, I've heard a lot about you. In fact, I've heard a lot about all of you, but you need to come home with me sometime. Team manager, Devin, listen, man, so you guys have obviously been competing in this competition for a while. You've, I don't want to say dominated, but certainly you've done well. Talk a little bit about this particular competition.
Yes, every year we get better. Last year we set history because we have been the only team to win 3 major categories. That's most innovative dish. We also won Junior Chef of the Year with Hazen Roll. And like Jamal Small said, we also won Senior Chef of the Year.
All right. So this is later in the month, right? So how many members are you taking this time around?
We're carrying 11 strong.
11 strong. All right. What are some of the dishes? I mean, 11 strong. You're going to have last night. What are some of the dishes that kind of stand out, and what are some of the what can we expect this time around?
See, now we can't. We know we have a lot of people watching. We don't want to let out all of our secrets. Yeah, but what we do is we use indigenous products and we enhance them in a more modern way where people will say, wow, we don't know they could do that with count. We didn't know they could do that with grouper. So they are some of the things that we do. You know.
And of course, I would imagine it's obviously infused with a lot of the, Bahamian native themes that we have around. We've got, you're not the only lady amongst all of these roses, right?
Oh yeah,
I'm the only one.
Yeah, this is our only one. Yes. Yeah, that's a giant.
That's a giant.
Oh, yeah.
You've been a part of this competition before as well, right?
Yeah, last year was my first year in the competition.
Yeah, how was it?
It was good. It was an amazing experience. I learned a lot of different diversities.
Yeah.
And, this year I'm coming stronger. Last year I got a silver in the Pastry Chef of the Year competition.
No,
so this time,
you come to get, you're going to get yours. All right, you're going to get yours. What was it? Mixologist. That's becoming one of my favorite words. I remember the term from last year, and I noticed you got 2 cups in front of you. Maybe that's for what do you guys?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's something different this year. Now, as she said, this is my second time around as well too, and I got a taste of what it is. Really, a taste of the Caribbean, and figure out now that what the elements are going to be for this year come around. So it's going to be something totally different.
All right. Well, I always love it when people, chefs, have gloves on. That means that they're about to do something. I see 3 gloves on the table. Are you guys going to be mixing up something this morning? Tell us what it is.
Well, today I'll be preparing a sweet potato and pumpkin bisque accompanied with a caramelized poached pear, topped off with the toasted almonds, and then to finish it off with a nice coconut foam.
Gotta love it. But, all right, well, listen, you can probably get going on that. Listen, so you got the man who's reigning.
Yeah, we got 2 reigning champs here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, yeah, he's the
Junior Chef of the Year.
Junior Chef of the Year.
And most innovative
And
dish.
yes.
Yeah. So that's history. With the most innovative dish, that's the dish which stole the show. Okay. So
What was it last year? I mean, but can you? What was it last year that kind of took it off?
Well, it was a duo certified Angus beef with the.
It was a duo certified Angus beef with a coconut curry shrimp, classical sauce, tony vegetables, and ginger and carrot puree.
All right. Which one of you can take credit for this? For his evolution. But Chef Jamal, how many times have you been a part of this competition?
Well, this is time number 8, I think.
Wow.
8. Yep. 8 years in a row.
8 years in a row. I mean, that's not the first time you've won that particular.
No, I've won Beef Chef of the Year, and I was with the team that won Team of the Year.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. So give us an idea of what it is that we have in front of us, and what are you making?
All right, for me, we have the dessert, which is the best part of the meal, actually.
Always.
So I stuck with something that was very classical, which is a guava and coconut bread pudding, along with a white chocolate and banana rum sauce.
Nice, nice. And this looks quite simple to kind of. Well,
yeah, it's simple and it's versatile too. If you don't like guava, or you can substitute it with any fruit that you like. And it's also, the only negative side I would say is that it's loaded in calories, but who cares, you know? Who cares?
Nothing wrong with that. All right, and you're making there.
This is a sweet potato and pumpkin bisque. To the bottom we have poached caramelized pears. On the top is the coconut foam, and topped off with toasted almonds.
All right, excellent. That looks really great. There are 2 bowls here. I guess I got to share with Star. I have to share. I have to share with Star. Listen, you guys have a gala. Is it a dinner coming up? Is that a fundraiser?
It is.
It's
Yes.
a fundraiser. Okay, give
Yes.
us some details on that.
Yes, it's our fundraiser to carry us abroad. Because
Okay.
you know, a trip like this is very, very expensive. This costs us in the area of like 70, 80,000, you know, to travel for a whole week. There we will be showcasing a lot of indigenous products. Just to give you a few things, we have our local, everyone know fire engine. So
Yeah.
now we took a fire engine and put it in a modern way. We know about chicken in the bag. This will be a unique presentation. We have conch. We're pairing conch with Gombe punch.
Nice.
We're pairing short ribs with Vita malt. So we're using a lot of indigenous products. We got fever grass in our dessert. So, I mean, we're going crazy. So, guys, this is the first time. I've been with the team now over 10 years. And this is the first time that, I mean, ticket sales are flying out. Tickets are only $100.
Wow.
And we're expecting like 200 persons. First day ticket sales open up, we already had 120 tickets gone. So this is going to be,
Well,
it's only a couple more tickets to
So
get.
so give us the date, the time, the venue.
Okay, the date is June 13th, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at SLS Ballroom at Bahamas.
Where can you get tickets from?
Tickets you can get from BHTA. I'll give you the address after, but BHTA, I'll give you the number. That's the Bahamas Hotel Tourism Association.
Okay,
So I'll
alright.
give you the number after. Everybody can Google it or
Yeah.
look it up online.
Listen, you talk about support for the team. It's like $70,000, $80,000. I mean, you know, how can persons support this endeavor?
Again, you just write into the BHTA.
Okay, so
and
BHTA,
this
okay.
year has been our most difficult year, you know, in getting sponsors. But we have a few major sponsors
Okay.
who always assist us every year.
Okay.
And they would be mentioned and throughout. You're going to see segments. So just keep watching for the team.
Yeah.
For the next week and a half, you'll see a lot of us on television and doing different videos and recordings.
Is there anybody going for the first time, or everybody's been before? First time, okay. Give him the mic. Give him the mic.
Yeah.
Tell me. So tell me, what do you expect to be doing while you're there? I mean, what your specialty is?
My specialty is seafood. What I expect to be doing is actually competing against the other countries. How I feel about the first time, I'm excited. I'm actually scared, to be honest with you. But I feel like I got it with the help of my senior chefs here and all those who've been. I feel like I got it, you know. Thanks a lot.
You know, Kevin, all I hear
I feel like I got it.
is that you feel like you got it. And I'm letting you know I got it right now. Star, listen, I'm going to bring it down during the mid-show. But listen, guys, we expect nothing but the best. We definitely know we have the greatest talent in the Caribbean. June 20th? Is that when it is again?
Yes, June 21st to 25th.
And if you want to support them, again, contact the Bahamas Hotel Tourism Association. And listen, congratulations, do well. Looking forward to seeing you come back with those medals once again.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. I will continue to eat this while we take this short commercial break. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. First response. How can I help you?
I've been in an accident on West Bay Street. Can you send someone to help?
Yes, ma'am. A first response team will be there in 15 minutes. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine, but a bit upset.
We're glad you're not hurt. Please, try to relax. Our team will take care of everything as soon as they arrive.
First Response provides immediate on-site service and support from the scene of an accident through the claims and repair process. And it's free to all Bahamas First insured drivers in New Providence, every day for any type of accident. If you drive and want First Response on your side, call 32-FIRST or visit bahamasfirst.com for the name of an authorized Bahamas First agent. First Response can't prevent an accident from happening,
But it can certainly ease your mind when it happens.
I'm Jennifer Basden, Group Sales and Marketing Manager for Bahamas Air, and it's my pleasure to invite you to experience Houston. From out-of-the-world excitement at Space Center's Houston, the gateway to NASA's mission control, to the over 10,000 restaurants representing cuisine from more than 70 countries. Houston has it all. Come, experience Houston with direct service on Bahamas Air. For more information on flight and packages, visit bahamasair.com.
Welcome back. We're here on the southeastern shore of the island at lovely Palm Key, which is an almost 70-acre development featuring single-family residences, condominiums, townhomes, pools, and many other exciting amenities. Here to tell us more about Palm Key is Rob Batchelor, CEO of Palm Key. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, thanks for having me.
This is such a lovely morning. I was just thinking that I kind of want to lay down and take a nap somewhere, an early morning nap.
Yeah.
So tell us about the types of homes that you have available here at Palm Key.
So we have various styles of home. We have townhomes, available 3-4 bedroom townhomes, which we call Starfish Isle. They are currently available. We are building 2 and 3 bedroom condominiums in our Anchorage project. And we've just kicked off our flagship program, which is development of 100 condominiums down the east side of my marina. So it's a different style for us, but it's I'm super excited about what's going on there, and they will be available in a year's time.
So tell us what's some of the central philosophy of Palm Key that you find in the houses and in development itself.
So we're trying to create a community that exudes quality, from our facilities to the homes that we build. So we want to create homes that people are proud to live in, and a community which people are proud to work, live and play.
And so you have the community, but you also have a marina and a beautiful beach. So tell us about some of the other amenities you have.
Yeah, so our marina, I'm really proud of our marina. We've been voted the best marina in the Bahamas now for 5 years running. Wow. So my marina team provide just superb customer experience for our transient guests and our long-term guests. We also have just invested a couple of $1 million in developing our beach club area. So the lap pool, the new tiki bar, and we give our guests a feeling of a little bit of exclusivity. I've not been to a family island, but I've been told that we create a bit of a family island feel here.
I can feel it.
We've got 1,300 square feet of beach, manicured beach, soft sand. We've got Pink Octopus have just recently taken on our restaurant.
Yeah.
So we're investing in our food and beverage operation. We want to make this a destination that people, people out west say, you know what, there's some great things happening out east.
Yeah, I'm interested in that restaurant. Tell us a little more about some of the new developments there.
Yeah, so Pink Octopus have moved from their West Bay Street previous operation to come down here, work with us. We've got one of the best locations on the island, and they're bringing just some new fusion flavors to our. Well, our menu was always good. It just got a little bit, just a little bit boring, So we're now doing theme nights. We're doing, we're going to create an on-house garden. So we've got from farm to table type approach. Hey, it takes a little while to get there, but we want to promote health eating as well as good eating and affordable eating.
Yes. Are there any other developments or new developments happening now at Palm Key?
Well, as I say, the one marina is our flagship. We broke ground back in November last year. Yep. We're due to complete the first 10 condominiums. They're all sold. We will be starting the next phase of that in the next 3 months.
Okay.
And then we'll have a rolling program for the next 2 to 3 years to see out the build of those 100 units.
So tell us why Palm Key is a great place for young families and for professionals alike to live.
I think we're providing a lifestyle. Yeah, it's the whole thing. We're a very safe, secure, gated community. That's obviously important. When you drive around, you see kids' bikes are left out. You know, people don't lock their cars up. You know, it's very, very safe, very secure. We've got all of the amenities, the tennis courts, you know, children's play areas. We're close to the local schools, St Andrews schools. You know, Solomon's, the new supermarket. So we think we've got everything that you could want in a place, you know, to get you away from your work environment, including what is just a superb views.
There is a superb view here. I sat here before the camera rolled, and I forgot where we were. I forgot that we were on set. As I said, I'm ready to take an early morning nap. You mentioned earlier about the community, so just talk to us more about this, you know, the safety, the environment here. This is the type of space you try to create for families.
Yeah, well, we've actually created a social committee. So we actually we've different demographics. We've got international investors, we've got boaters, we've got vacation renters, and we've got people who live here. Yeah. So, you know, people want to do different things. So we try to build programs of activities that reach out to those different demographics. Right. You know, not everyone wants to go to the bar and have a rave night. Equally, not everyone wants to go and play tennis. Right. You know, so we get the social committee together to advise us on the kind of recreational activities, social activities we should put on. So we're creating a real community spirit, real involvement, getting people involved in, you know, the day-to-day social aspects of what we've got here.
Yes, and I think that's important because, you know, they're the aesthetics of any development, but it's the sense of the community, of your neighbors, feeling, you know, you can trust people that you live around, and that there's almost a family spirit, and like you said, like the family island, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, our biggest sales assets are our current residents and owners. You know, if they're living here and they're saying to their pals and colleagues, you know, Palm Key, what a great place. We have great fun there. You know, the quality of the build is great. The community, there's a real spirit about it. Yep. That's half my sales battle done for me. Yep. And when we encourage our owners to help promote Palm Key, we get them involved. You know, we give them incentives to do that as well. But it's all about me investing in the whole of Palm Key, not just focused on a build project. It's about creating facilities, amenities and services that people are proud to say they're part of.
Yes. So for persons watching at home, persons like myself, how can we find out more information about Palm Key?
You can go to our website, www.palmkey.com. You can call me on, on my sales line, which is 676-855-2. And you can pop along, come to our security gatehouse and ask for me, a bachelor.
All right, Rob, thank you for having us this morning. Thank you for, we're having you, but you're also having us here at Palm Key. I feel like I'm on vacation. Probably going to go for a swim after we come away. But thank you for being on Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us on Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Wait, that's Omar Little from The Wire. You think everyone is Omar from The Wire?
Wow, it's really nice to meet a fan.
It's like he's right here. I telling you he's been on all type shows and stuff?
And you know, Rev Go Play plays a lot of good movies and TV shows.
Excuse me, can't you see we're watching something else? Rude.
Settle all your pop culture disputes with Rev Go Play. Watch, record, and stream all your favorite shows wherever you are. Free for all Rev TV subscribers. Rev, you and us together.
I always wanted to come back to the College of Bahamas. I wanted to be a faculty. When the opportunity came for me to be Vice President of Operations, I said, well, let me try that first. It makes me proud because I was here before. I feel as if now I'm sort of like a beacon for those students who are here to say, hey, listen, I can actually be a vice president. I can actually be one of the big leaders at the university. I'm Ronnie Stevenson, and this is my UB.
Apply today at www.ub.edu.bs.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Something as simple as a pregnant woman taking 400 micrograms of a vitamin supplement of folic acid daily can reduce the risk for neural tube deficits by as much as 70%. But this is something you may not be aware of without prenatal care. And here to discuss the importance of prenatal care, I'm very happy to welcome back Dr. Carlos Thomas. He's a pediatrician with Pediatric Associates. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. It's lovely to be back.
Always a pleasure to have you with us, Dr. Thomas. Always learn so much about our babies and how we can care for them whenever you're here. And we wanted to talk with you more about this because we've been seeing quite a number of women who are delivering babies without ever seeing a doctor. And that's very concerning. So talk to us more about why people should want to see a doctor during their pregnancy.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems to be a growing trend in our country. We're having women who present to the hospital to deliver having not had prenatal care.
Wow.
Now, we recommend that you start prenatal care for sure in the first trimester.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first 12 weeks of pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, as early as you think you're pregnant, you ought to see your doctor.
Okay.
And there are very, very good reasons for that, which we'll discuss as we proceed.
Mm-hmm.
But to start with, that your baby's organs start to form very early.
Right.
By 6 to 8 weeks, for example, your baby's heart is already beating.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important that you start your care very early to ensure a healthy baby.
Okay, and you know, I want to get into more of the reasons why we want healthy babies, which I think is very self-explanatory.
Sure.
But I also want to understand what's happening with women, why they're not going to see a doctor. Is it related to cost? Is it related to fear? What is, do you think, the blockage between women actually coming forward as soon as they know they're pregnant to get care? Why would you not do that?
There are multiple reasons. Some of our mothers who do not seek prenatal care are multiparous women. That is women who have had babies before.
Okay.
Some may think they know what they need to know.
Okay.
Some don't go because they're fearful. Okay. Sometimes we see teenage girls who are pregnant and try to conceal it and somehow just hope it'll, go away. Mm-hmm. So there are many reasons. It's a very interesting observation that this happens primarily in the public sector. Mm-hmm. In the private sector where I also work, we don't see that.
Okay.
And in fact, one of our residents at the university is doing a research looking at the reasons to try and find out what the prevalence is of women who do not seek prenatal care.
Okay, that's interesting. I hope that whenever he's done, he'll come on and share with us, because that's quite an interesting study and very interesting to know that it's happening in our public sector. So it's all good that you came on to educate us about it. Hopefully we'll get some people to come forward today as a result of this conversation we're having.
Yes, but I mentioned about the baby's outcome, which is very important. Mm-hmm. The main purpose of becoming pregnant is to have a healthy baby. Right. But there are also concerns about mom's health.
Okay.
For example, some women develop high blood pressure during pregnancy. Mm-hmm. That can lead to seizures in the mother during delivery or before delivery, can result in a baby who's smaller than intended. Mm-hmm. And babies who are born smaller, who have intrauterine growth restriction, are at increased risk for developmental delay, for learning disabilities, and the mortality and morbidity, meaning the chance of dying or having a bad outcome, increases.
Wow.
So it's very important to seek prenatal care.
Okay.
Another example is diabetes. As you're well aware, in our country, we have lots of diabetes, and some women are diabetic before conceiving.
Right.
And that increases your risk of having a baby with abnormalities, brain abnormalities, heart, spinal abnormalities. So it's essential that you seek early medical care.
Yeah, and you know, all of these things I'm sure could be identified at a prenatal visit, right? What
Absolutely
are some of those
correct.
steps that you guys would take just to make sure that everything is happening normally for mother and child?
So the obstetrician takes a history, past history, obstetric history, to find out if you've had babies before, how were they born, were there challenges, any health risks. There are certain blood tests done to look for your blood count, screen for infections, because many of the infections the mother has may be passed on to their baby. Wow. We're speaking about HIV, syphilis, and others. So very, very important. And then the doctor monitors the growth and well-being of your baby throughout the pregnancy.
Okay. And then how many visits should an expecting mother have during that 40-week period?
It varies. So initially you may be going once per month. As you get into your second trimester, maybe every 2 weeks, and then towards the end, every week. Okay. I just thought of another thing. Sometimes mothers present in labor and they have what we call cephalopelvic disproportion, which means simply the baby's head is too big to engage the outlet of the pelvis. Right. And so you can have a baby who's born with fractures of the clavicle, that's the collarbone, the humerus in the arm, or worse, may have impaired oxygenation. We call it asphyxia. Right. So this baby may be born with brain injury, which can have obviously long-term effects on your child's development.
If they had done the prenatal visits, this was something that their doctor
would have been discovered and managed properly. Another example is something called placenta previa. Usually the placenta, which is the afterbirth, is comes after the baby. That's why it's called afterbirth. Sometimes in some women, it's towards the lower part of the uterus. And as the baby is being delivered, if that's not discovered previously, you can have severe hemorrhage and can cause death. So it's very important that you know your baby's status, how your baby's doing, your baby's being monitored to ensure a healthy outcome.
So I know Dr. Thomas said that those people would obviously see an obstetrician, but as a part of the pregnancy journey, you should also identify a pediatrician early on too, right?
Yes.
Why is that important?
We encourage that, you know. It used to be that you met your pediatrician after the baby is born. Right. We strongly encourage, certainly in the private sector, that you identify a doctor to start the relationship so he can learn more about your health concerns. He or she may be prepared for your delivery to enhance the best outcome.
And obviously we talk a lot about the private and public sector, but are there services available, prenatal services available in our public sector for those that cannot afford private care?
I'm happy you asked the question because the answer is absolutely yes. At all the government clinics, there's opportunity for prenatal care. And we strongly encourage mothers as soon as you think you're pregnant to seek medical care.
Okay. And then how important are taking your pregnancy vitamins as this kind of leads up to this process as well?
That's crucial. You mentioned that earlier on in the segment that folic acid is very important. Right. As I mentioned, the organs start to form very early. So the ideal situation is for a mother to start taking her vitamins before she conceives. Wow. Certainly soon after, because after 6 or 8 weeks, the organs have already formed.
Okay. Dr. Thomas, so much knowledge always comes from you, and it's things that are very practical to our society. We want a healthier population, and that really starts with how we conceive our kids and then, of course, how we deliver them. So we hope that people will take this conversation and use it to their advantage, and certainly seek the care that is available both in our public and private sector. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
So who really own the Nassau Container Port? Boss, that's easy. The government. I do.
I do. Thank you. I do.
I do. And one day, he will too. I do. Knock knock.
Here at the Nassau Container Port, we've diversified our ownership to give hardworking Bahamians a piece of the economic pie. And we'll continue to grow so that we can give you a consistent return on your investment. That's our promise.
Hi, I'm Davriel and welcome to Rev Tips, where we answer your most important Rev service questions. Today's question is, how do I set up a Rev My Account? It's super easy. To create a Rev My Account, simply visit www.cablebahamas.com and click the My Account icon. Next, select the Create Account option. Please have a copy of your latest statement on hand. Enter the information as it appears on the statement to the respective areas on the form. When you've finished, click Create Account to continue with the process. Once you've registered your account, you can use your username and password to check your account balance, view past statements, and pay your bill online. And that's your Rev Tip for this week. Thanks for watching, and be sure to join us next time.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We hope that you've been enjoying the show so far.
We have.
Thank you, Phil. I appreciate it.
You know, I get to do the segment. Thank you, Sue. But they make sure that Star is fed.
Always. They're my people. They're my people. I'm their people. We're going to be people.
Oh, man.
No, it really is always exciting to have our culinary team with us. They create such amazing things from our food, and it's really exciting.
I'm always, I don't think I have a really creative bone in my body in any sense of the word. But the things that they do and just infuse it with so much Bahamianness, right? That's a word?
I mean, we'll make one today because the food tastes good. So whatever you say, I'm going to just say,
And then the sour sop with the coconut water from the mixologist.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm talking to colloquial now.
Yeah, I hear that, bro. You hear that, bro?
I apologize. What I was going to say was the soup was so delicious. It was I don't even know how to describe it, but it was savory but sweet. It was so good. And it's like, this is what you call culinary fusion. And so it really has been an exciting show. And we also had some other good conversations outside of the food. I spoke with Dr. Carlos Thomas.
Oh, okay. I missed that. I was eating.
You was eating, yeah. A great conversation about prenatal care. And of course, we're looking forward to more in the second half, right?
Yeah, we're going to be talking budget. So we've got Gowan Bo. I don't know. I still call him Mr. President. But I believe he's outgoing president now, BICA. And Rupert. Rupert will also be joining us. So it should be an interesting conversation once we put the food aside and kind of get into the numbers.
Yeah, maybe we wish we wouldn't have eaten until after we get into the numbers. Nevertheless, it's going to set us up for a good conversation. Hope that you're continuing to enjoy the show. Here's Godfrey Burnside with a second look at weather.
Weather at sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Good morning, Bahamas. Just a second look at weather. Sunrise, the tropics first. We do have an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms in the Bay of Campeche. It's associated with an area of low pressure that's moving towards the northwest. And over the next 5 days has a 6% chance of development. No threat to Bahamas. Elsewhere, tropical storm formation expected during the next 5 days. On the local scene, some troughing across the northwest Bahamas will throw off a couple of showers and thunderstorms today. High pressure continues to be the dominant feature. In your marine forecast, those winds today variable at 10 knots or less. Seas less than 3 feet. On Tuesday, those winds northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet, falling light and variable at times. Then on Wednesday, those winds east to 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet in northwest Bahamas, northeast to east at 15 knots, sea 2 to 5 feet over the central and southeastern islands. Yeah, tides. You can expect a high tide at 7:23 this morning. Next low tide will be at 1:27 this afternoon. High again this evening at 7:51. Sunset 7:54 this evening, rises more 6:20. UV index 9. Your water temperature 76 degrees Fahrenheit. And the moon phase, no moon. External look, high pressure down. Still have some troughing around though, but those partly sunny skies, hot temperatures, chance of showers and possible thunderstorms by afternoon. Temperature daytime will be around the 90-degree mark. At nighttime, in the mid to upper 70s. That puts you up on your phone. Look at weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. Well, last week, the Honorable K. Peter Turnquest, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, delivered the budget communication in the House of Assembly for the 2019-2020 fiscal year. Quite an interesting budget, interesting rollout of that budget with lots of things happening in the ministry. And so we're going to be talking with Gowan Bo, who's the outgoing president of the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants and the Clearing Banks Association, and Rupert Pinder, who is our resident economist. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back. I mean, it's always an interesting debate whenever we're talking about budgets. Nobody's ever going to agree. Certainly this budget is slightly different than what we had last year. No real surprises. Do you agree, disagree?
Yeah, I think when you look, what you ideally would like to see from budgets is a vision for what's going to be going forward. And sometimes numbers are just that, empirical and plain, and so you need to add color. And I think that this is one of those budgets that is, as you said, no increases in taxes, efforts to decrease expenditure, but I think what was most important was the institutional strengthening that was spoken about. We have such a large government and budget, but yet we don't have qualified accountants. We don't have the Department of Statistics staff with the right persons, and I think the Auditor General requiring resources. So I think what was important, if you want to say, well, what is a message being sent? The Deputy Prime Minister was very clear that we need to hire the right people. It's not that we need to expand government. We need to have the right people in government.
Okay, interesting. Rupert, for you, any surprises at all? And I know you and I have spoken about taxes for some time now. The fact that there were no new tax introductions and they're holding off, it seems to be for the NHI tax until next year. What does that kind of do for us in the space that we find ourselves in now fiscally?
Well, as Corbin would have indicated, I guess there were really no surprises, I guess, in terms of, let's say, compared in terms of the 2018-2019 budget, but obviously in terms of the overall value-added tax. I do see some stuff there in terms of, you mentioned it's an institutional strengthening. And if my memory serves me correct, I think that there was a provision there to look at a review of the concessions. I think as well, and I think because that was one of my concerns in terms of the last year's budget, to the extent to which in terms of how maybe some of the concessions/exemptions may have impacted in terms of the overall value added tax return. Again, I mean, while there were no surprises with respect to this current year's budget in terms of 2019-2020, I do think that we need to look back in terms of some of the things that we would have done in 2018-2019 to the extent to which it can impact the revenue outturn for this year. Because I think one of the things that they talked about really is really looking at maybe in terms of tightening things a bit in terms of revenue administration without necessarily introducing any new taxes.
Right.
And one of the things that I was concerned with the 2018-2019 budget is that while we increased the overall value-added tax by 60% from 7.5% to 12%, obviously to the extent to which the revenue outturn, I think, was like a 21% thereabout spike, meaning that the revenue performance, in my view, the increase far outpaced the revenue outturn.
Right.
And when you look back, that despite the fact that we increased from 7.5% to 12%, we introduced a number of exemptions. For example, we said that, okay, we're going to remove the VAT on medication. The question is, what is medication? You're talking about over-the-counter, you're talking about prescription. And the wider you define the definition, the more you introduce the potential for revenue leakages, right? And these are some of the sort of things I think we need to look at. And the other thing is that in this year's budget, is that I noticed that there is an exemption thing, a business license with respect to export of services.
Right.
And the question is, what are we talking about when we talk about export of services? Because tourism is also an export of services, right? And so these are the sort of nuances, etc., with respect to the budget that you really have to look. And one of the success of the value-added tax in previous years in terms of 7.5% is that it was flat-based, few exemption, and very easy to administer.
Okay.
Well, let's jump on some of the nuances, right? I mean, we seem to be on a path. Obviously, this current administration is thinking other things. I believe WTO is probably at the core of it. So we are making some adjustments to the way that we kind of do our budgeting, the way that we tax ourselves. Do you agree with the current path? I mean, you know, the headline said steady as she goes. Do you see it as a transition towards WTO?
Well, this is where I say we need articulation on what is the vision and the strategy, because you're inferring. You're asking me to infer.
Correct.
And the government really should be very clear. If my initiatives are designed towards WTO accession, then I should be very clear, these are the steps that I'm taking. If my investment in education is because I'm saying that my skills gap is not allowing persons to take advantage of GDP growth that I project and I see coming forward, this is what I'm going to invest in as it relates to that. The Small Business Development Center, we know that 90% of businesses globally are considered the micro, small, medium-sized enterprises, and so we haven't seen the investment in those entities in the country by what I'm going to say the private equity money, and so therefore the government is looking at initiatives to try and spur that. But those are things that we shouldn't have to read into. That when you think about a corporate entity and they set forward their budget, it's usually around a target, an objective that says, this is what I want to achieve. The rollout of a new product, the restructuring to cut costs, if you will, the advancement of technology, etc. And I think that there are a number of things in the budget that need to be, during the budget debate, articulated. To the point that Rupert mentioned in terms of removing business license on export services. Internally, I know that is well defined only because having worked with it. And they're looking at that definition in terms of where it's consumed. So tourism wouldn't be export because it's consumed in the country, as an example. But the fact that it leaves it open in the budget is a challenge. So when we look at this, I think I'm hoping that you see maturity on the part of the Deputy Prime Minister and the Ministers of Cabinet, because I think there's warranted criticism, not what I'm going to call political football. There's going to be that narrative. Right. But when you look at persons who are objectively digesting it, there are questions. Right. And there's an improvement. Mm-hmm. There's an improvement as it relates to the quarterly reporting, more information. But you have to be of a mindset to say that if my vision is not clearly understood, I'm deficient in my communication and I need to improve that.
Yeah, certainly, certainly. And we saw some ministries get some increases too. Ministry of Social Services, for example, would have gotten an increase in their assistance programming. We saw Ministry of Health get an increase as well. We also saw some major decreases. We saw Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture move from 28 million to 22 million. Big reductions in the Ministry of Finance as well. When we see the money moving around, does it speak kind of to the themes that Phil would have mentioned, this idea of WTO? What do we think then? And again, we're inferring, as you indicated, was the logistics behind moving money into certain ministries and taking it away from others?
Well, in fairness, I guess I didn't necessarily see that connection. But that's not to say that it isn't there, because I guess maybe sometimes if you look more closely, you may find something that you're looking for. But I didn't see necessarily that one-to-one sort of correlation between movements in terms of expenditure in relation to WTO accession. Okay. What I did see, however, when you look at the budget globally, one of the things I did see, however, is the steady decline in terms of capital expenditure, right? And your capital expenditure really in a nutshell is really your spending on infrastructure, right? And I know Mr. Bo here would have talked extensively about the investment in infrastructure. And to me, while there is a need in terms of cutting, well, in terms of belt tightening, in terms of expenditure, particularly in terms of where there's fat, so to speak, at the same time, we also have to be careful in terms of ensuring that sufficient funds go in terms of the maintenance of the infrastructure. Because if not, one of the things that we're going to find is that maybe 10 years down the line, the overall expenditure that's going to require just to get it to an acceptable level in terms of usage, it's going to cost us far more. So one of the things is that looking in terms of the budget numbers is that we saw, I think, like around 2014, 2015, thereabouts, we were spending like on average about 3% of the budget went to, of GDP went to capital expenditure. Now today you're looking at less than 2%, around 1.8%. And so while it is very good to bang on the desk and say, well, okay, we've cut spending, our GFS deficit is wonderful, et cetera, so on and so forth. But down the road, you have to be careful because, just like with a house, I mean, you have to constantly paint, you have to constantly bring in the plumber, et cetera, because one day you say, well, hey, look, I've saved all of this money. But then later on, when you see all the cracks in the foundation and the roof is caving in, you realize that you're far worse off down the road. And so it's important that you keep track of that. Yes.
I mean, there's certainly a lot of work to be done, and it's very hard, to get away from Garwin said, starting with the top, starting with having an aligned vision, a strategy that then pours into this whole concept of national development plan. It limits my questions a little bit without having an answer to that. But one thing they have made very clear is that they intend to really pursue revenue collection, right? And whether that's through taxation or whether it's outstanding real property tax, business license, VAT, etc. We are still getting used to this culture of just open and direct taxation. Do you feel as though the government can get that extra $100 million that they have targeted over the next fiscal year?
What I'm going to say is justice is blind and revenue collection should be blind as well.
Okay, all right.
Right? Yeah. I think too often we hear the cries of persons who are saying, well, it's hard for me to pay my taxes. The reality is when you don't pay your taxes, someone else has to pay it for you. So it's a zero-sum game at the end of the day. And that's when we have to look at wealth distribution and tax distribution. And that's a separate topic in terms of, I think persons know my views in terms of consumption versus progressive tax in the form of income tax. But ultimately, I think when you start saying revenue enhancement, that should be a given. Right. And this goes back to having the right people, because it's an understanding of saying, well, is my lack of collection due to it being an inefficient system, meaning I need better people, or an ineffective tax? That no matter what, unless I have the goons with the baseball bats going out to collect it, it's just a difficult taxation. And when we look at some of the taxes that we have, whilst we may say it should be easy enough, there's a reason why it hasn't been collected, and you have to now determine what that reason is. I think to your point, though, on the National Development Plan, having that near and dear to my heart is one of saying that we have to get away from this 5-year budgeting exercise. So not to be badgering, but I mean, when you talk about a 3-year fiscal consolidation plan, that is within your administration, as opposed to saying, well, think like the Chinese, right? I think beyond when I'm even going to be here. So my plan is going to be that I set the country on the right footing, and I look to the electorate to be mature and understanding that I may have made tough decisions, but it's for the betterment in the future, not simply for a period of time. And I know that's difficult when you sit in the halls of Parliament and you're sitting with constituents that are beating on you, but it's like your children, right? That you make decisions on their behalf, and you know, later on in life, they come back and say it. And I remember at school, a lot of people I didn't like then. And they're now the dearest to me in the sense that I looked at their care and concern to say that they didn't let me get away with what I wanted for what it was that I needed.
Well, listen, I wish I could talk to you guys so much more I wanted to ask and you know, just bring up, even when I think about what this budget meant for the individual person, right? Because we think budget big people, but there were some things here that I noted, and I wondered, how will this transform small business? How will this transform the way that our businesses can interact with businesses overseas? And so I saw all of that here. Wish we had more time, but guys, we don't. So thank you so much for joining us on Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you. Always a
we'll
pleasure.
do it again soon.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. I'm sure we're going to have more conversations about this budget to come. So listen, if you do have questions, please write them on our Facebook page. We'll find out how we can get them asked for you. We're going to be right back after this commercial break.
Come on, Agnes, I've got all day.
Yeah, let's go.
Sprained her ankle.
He's lie, babe. Cheap as we finished watching this movie.
How old was I? 4 days?
She always just play the same in every episode. I don't understand it.
See, what y'all missing is y'all need to get to season 3, man.
I thought
season 1.
They say season 2 was where it started, though.
Alive Postpaid. You're there for your friends when it matters, and we're here for you with more data to stream all the shows and movies you love.
Sorry about that, guys.
And I'm the sole heir.
With our letters of notification or return. What's it you doing in here, though?
Come on, man, it's the best part.
For everything that matters. Alive. Believe in best.
Since 1967, Focal has been a vital part of the Grand Bahama community, providing high-quality products and great customer service. Today, we continue to work hard and remain focused on fueling growth for people throughout the Bahamas.
Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Bahamas at Sunrise. We had food, and we certainly had food for thought. Have a wonderful week. Holiday coming.
Holiday coming. We will see you back here on Friday, which is Labor Day. Enjoy the week.
Bye.
Food and food.